So, growing up, I know one of your first musical things was your mom taught you clarinet and piano.
Mm-hmm.
And was that something you wanted to get into, music?
Well, actually, my mom played the clarinet.
Uh-huh.
I played the piano for a little while, not very long, but I played the violin.
And how old were you when you started that?
I was, let me see, I must have been about 13 years old, 14.
So back then, because that was before the brothers and everything happened, did you have any intentions of pursuing a career in music?
Not really.
No. What were your aspirations? Did you have any idea of a career, or were you just thinking family,
I was thinking family a lot, but one of the things that I used to do an awful lot, I used to watch, all my life I watched musicals.
Mm-hmm.
I watched so many musicals, and I used to imagine or pretend that I was one of the artists, actually, or the characters in the movie. That was me. I mean, I was really into Dan Daly, Betty Grable, or, oh gosh, so many of them. Fred Astaire.
All the greats, the old ones, yeah.
All of them, really. Catherine Dunham.
And I remember you said it was actually when you won the Black Gold Award for Best New Artist in 1984.
Oh, you remember
mentioned that you won several dance contests when you were younger as well. So how did you get into that, to dancing?
Well, Jackie and I, when we were very little, when I mean little, I mean like around 4 and 5 years old, we used to dance all the time for our family and friends. And they would put Jackie on a hat and a coat, and we would swing dance, jitterbug.
Oh, cool.
And then we grew up dancing together so much that it became a thing. Whenever there was a big family reunion, my father's side mostly, they always wanted us to dance. And so we used to dance. Back in the Midwest, they have a lot of what you call block parties or street parties, you might say.
Yeah.
And we used to dance for that, and we win sometimes.
So how did it change when you moved out to LA? Did that have any effect on your musical pursuits? And after the Jackson 5 took off, did that change anything?
The Jackson 5 actually started singing before I even got involved. I've always loved music and always enjoyed being a part of it. And what happened was that the first time I saw them perform, after they were professionals, because I grew up with the whole thing,
babysitting and everything,
was in Memphis, Tennessee. I think it was at the Memphis Coliseum. And at the time, I was living in Kentucky. And so when I saw them perform, I was so surprised. Yeah. Mostly because of the way the audience reacted, the way the girls were acting, and the people. I went, they're acting like this over here?
Crazy, huh?
I'll never forget one scene when their car drove past these girls, and these girls were standing there. They started shaking one another so much, it was crazy. They lost it. But anyway, I was very impressed with that. And then what happened is that I got a chance to see what they called or had at the time a family show, in which everybody participated in the show with the exception of me. When I saw that show, that's when I really wanted to be a part of working with the family. And
so your first was actually here in Las Vegas, right, at the MGM Grand?
Yeah, you're right.
And I know during the 70s, you also did some session work for people like the Emotions and Betty Wright. How did you get into doing that?
I worked with Betty Wright. I worked with the Emotions. I've worked with a lot of people. Oh gosh. What's her name? I can't think of
the Gang.
But I'm saying there's Shawnice.
Oh, okay.
Well, her mom.
Crystal.
Say with,
Crystal,
thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, I work, and even more than that, I work with a lot of people. It's just that I don't tabulate it, or I don't keep up with it. But I learned a whole lot by working with them, because the first time that I ever performed live was for a record company, Columbia Records. I did a showcase for them, and I was prepped by Betty Wright's band. I mean, I worked with her band and with Betty Wright personally. She taught me so much about performing live and carrying notes and all that stuff. And I literally moved into this house and stayed with Betty Wright and her band for a whole week.
Was that in Florida?
No, that was in California. And I just worked with them every single day. Wow. and because I wanted to get rid of any inhibitions or anything like that. I just wanted to be ready.
Yeah.
And then I worked with Wanda Hutchinson personally, and with her husband, and she taught me a whole lot. So
Wanda Hutchinson, I forget who she is.
Wanda Hutchinson.
Oh, from The Emotions?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah.
The lead singer, yeah.
Yeah.
And I learned a whole lot from those people.
So, you did some nightclub performing, right? To start out in the 70s. Yeah.
Whole lot.
Were you touring around or
I've
doing
been all
things
over
like,
Europe.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
so the
everywhere.
The Columbia showcase you mentioned, was that around the time before the Centipede album? Was that when you were getting ready to do that? So was it something you decide, hey, it's time for me to get out there, or was it you kind of coerced into doing the solo recording thing by Michael or another sibling, or how did that work?
It was something that I really wanted to do. What had happened is that we were all working together as a family doing the family show. And Michael got called to do The Wiz. And of course, when he went off to do The Wiz, you know, the family show that we were doing no longer existed.
Was that the variety show you're talking about? The Jackson's Variety Special? Where you did like Midnight at the Oasis? And
no, not the TV show.
You're talking about the concert.
We had a show in which we did theaters and rounds.
Okay.
And the whole family participated.
And it was like an ongoing tour.
It was actually the Vegas show.
Okay.
We took it all over. And what happened is when Michael got involved with doing The Wiz, the show no longer existed.
Yeah.
And so as a result, that's when I decided. And everybody sort of went their own separate ways. And I thought seriously about the fact that I should just pursue working as a solo artist.
So
that's when I thought about it.
How did you work it in with, because you already had a family by this point, you had kids, and you know, and obviously there's a lot of demands with being an artist, you know, promotion and stuff like this and performing. So,
well, I was trying to balance the two, and it wasn't the easiest thing to do, but it worked out. And the way I was able to work it was that I did all of my studio work basically locally for the most part back then when they were young.
And you were in California at this point, okay.
And what happened is that if I ever had to travel, if I was gone longer than 3 weeks, I would take my family with me. They would go with me if I was gone longer than 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And so it worked out.
I was telling Austin, I'll have to try to tape a copy for you. I got this from a person overseas. You were on with all the kids on a show in Austria, and it was the funniest thing. This was like in '89, because the guy was speaking in German, then he would translate it, and they had this game where they won like one of your 12-inch singles of Are You Tough Enough? But they had like this jukebox where you guys had to like control. I don't know if you, I mean, I know it's 1 in a million appearances, but I think you would just get such a kick out of it. But you were talking about that there, how you would go back and forth, but you know, bring them for a few weeks, and like when you had to record Are You Tough Enough, I think you were mentioning. Album.
I remember.
You remember that?
Yeah.
It was in Austria, and it was just the funniest thing. It was just, but when you put together the Centipede album, did you have input in selecting the material? How did that work?
Yes, I did. Well, first of all, Michael, as you know, did the single, and we named the album after the single. And then pretty much the rest of the material I was strongly involved with. Wayne Henderson was the one that produced the album, and we worked with music and songs. We just picked songs and worked with music that we thought would be appropriate. And also Tito did some music or recorded some.
Like Come Alive Saturday Night.
And also he did Hey Boy.
Yeah.
He indeed wrote that. So.
Yeah. And how did you choose to do A Fork in the Road? Because that was a really nice one.
Well, I just thought it would be great to do one old tune on my album.
And you did that one on Black Gold Awards, because I have the video.
You remember that?
Yeah.
You know what's so sad? I don't even have that award anymore, because when I was moving, the Movers, they kept it. This was years ago. I wish I could get it, but there's no way I could, though. I don't know what to do to get that back.
Yeah. But one interesting thing on that Centipede album, because Pam Tillis, the country singer now, she wrote that song, Play Me on the Jukebox.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
She's on the cover of one of the magazines out there in the lobby now, and I was thinking, what a coincidence.
Oh, wait a minute. I didn't even think of
Play
that.
Me, the 12-inch there.
Yes.
She wrote it, yeah. That's funny. So,